So, on Tuesday morning, I'm at home and perusing YouTube videos, feeling this nagging thought that I really should go outside and get some errands done, or at least take a walk in the park. But none of that is happening, and I know it isn't going to happen, when this Herald app story materializes on my screen. Author Olivia Pierson labels Nanaia Mahuta's Moko ugly, uncivilized, Mighty Ape pulls books. Oh boy, I can't let this one slide. This is the channel Fletcher Hamilton, and I'm your eponymous host. So, Mighty Ape is some New Zealand-based online retail hub that you can find at www.mightyape.co.nz, boasting ranges of goods from electronics, computers, games, toys, hobbies, books, home and living, office, art and craft, yada yada yada. The whole shebang was incepted 20 years ago by one Simon Barton. Here is Simon's picture on some Pinterest account, and he's trying his darndest to look endearingly quirky. And on the topic of books, it seems they sold books from New Zealander Olivia Pierson, writer and blogger, author of To Love Wisdom, A Gateway to the Heroic for the Young, and Western Values Defended, a primer. It looks like we've got a bit of a Kiwi female Jordan Peterson going on here, and that's great. So, it seems on Twitter, on November 22nd, Pearson made the remark, "Really? The face of New Zealand's new foreign minister? Facial tattoos are not exactly a polished, civilized presentation for a foreign diplomat in the 21st century. For fuck's sake, Jacinda has gone full wokelet on stilts." And in response, our endearingly quirky shithead Simon Barton, or some other endearingly quirky morons in his company Mighty Ape, went apeshit and suspended sales of Pearson's books. So let's take a look at the Herald article in full. Author Olivia Pierson labels Nanaia Mahuta's Moko ugly, uncivilized. Mighty Ape pulls books. Dated November 4th, 2020. An author has had her books pulled by Mighty Ape after comments she made on Twitter about new Foreign Affairs Minister Nanaia Mahuta. Mighty Ape New Zealand confirmed on Twitter that it had made Olivia Pierson's books unavailable after her comments on social media. Pierson said Jacinda Ardern had gone, quote, full wokelet on stilts for appointing Mahuta as Foreign Affairs Minister. Quote, facial tattoos are not exactly a polished, civilized presentation for a foreign diplomat in the 21st century, she said on Twitter. Her Twitter bio describes her as New Zealand-based. Quote, facial tattoos, especially on a female diplomat, is the height of ugly, uncivilized wokedom. Mahuta is New Zealand's first female Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the second of Maori heritage, after Winston Peters. She is the first to bear a Moko kawe. Mahuta did not want to comment. Quote, tena koto e hoama, Mighty Ape replied to a Twitter user. Quote, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We have made the book unavailable, and will not be making it available again. Na mihi nui kia koto, the company said on Twitter. Race Relations Commissioner Meng Foon says Mahuta's Kawe Moko is to be celebrated. Quote, it is special to New Zealand, special to Maori. It is interesting that many of our products now are being branded with Maori symbols and essence of their culture. What I would say to those mean people is to stop their racism, stop their prejudices, to grow up. Let's face it, the world is changing. The Maori economy is growing. If the Maori economy grows, it is good for all New Zealanders. Twitter users described Mighty Ape's move as, quote, drawing the line and as, quote, awesome leadership. Pierson is the author of the book Western Values Defended, a primer. A blurb of the book reads, quote, there is only one path to shining the light of understanding on the times in which we live, and that is to know our place in history. In 2015, author Tryphena Cracknell said there were still negative reactions to Moko Kawe in New Zealand and internationally, and she challenged people to learn more before passing judgment. Quote, it is a visible connection to whakapapa, genealogy, and to culture. It is clear that the women who wear it have a deep pride in that culture. And in 2018, during a controversy when a Pākehā woman sported a tāmoko, Waikato University Associate Professor Te Kahautu Maxwell said that the tāmoko had become an important symbol in Maori culture in the 20th century. Quote, it's the Maori deciding to reclaim their heritage and identity. We have to protect the last bastions that we have as Maori to make us different. Sure. Equal, but special. Anyway, Meira Lee Penihira, Associate Professor at Te Whare Whanganga o Awanuirangi, I screwed that up, said, Moko Kawe is the sole right of Maori women. Quote, not only is it okay to make a race-based decision in applying Moko Kawe, but it is a requirement. In my view, the gifting of Moko Kawe to Pākehā is not the right of any Māori, be they whahine or tane, irrespective of what has gone before. I can't unpack that paragraph. But there the article ends. Oh, I get it. I guess that she's saying that Māori have the right to apply it, but so-called Pākehā don't. Alright, Meira Lee Penihira. That's not racist at all, is it? Such a common theme in New Zealand. Equal rights for Māori, but also some additional rights not applicable to other people. Anyway, by way of a quick introduction to the Honourable Nanaia Sybil Mahuta, here we have a Labour MP elected in 1996 as a list MP. Oh, and by the way, all this is from Wikipedia. A list MP means she was pulled from a party list rather than being elected with votes she might have received directly. Mahuta was a cabinet minister in the Labour Progressive Coalition government, but was ousted when Labour was ousted in the 2008 general election. Following Labour's subsequent losses in 2011 and 2014, Mahuta held various roles as an opposition party spokesperson for Maori affairs and some other bits and pieces. From 2017 until the present, she served as a cabinet minister in the 6th Labour government, with portfolios for local government and Maori development, and roles as associate ministers for trade and export growth, the environment and housing portfolios. Again, all this is on Wikipedia, and it's not hugely interesting. Where it gets pertinent to this story is Muhatu's announcement as the next Minister of Foreign Affairs on the 2nd of November. She will be the first woman to hold the Foreign Affairs portfolio. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is a senior member of the Government of New Zealand, heading the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and is responsible for relations with foreign countries. So, in every honesty, the Moko. So, let's talk about the Moko. And do not interpret this as a personal attack on Nanaia Mahuta. I don't intend it to be that, but I do want to give you my opinion as to the Moko. I'm sure it will come as no surprise to anybody that I agree with Olivia Pierson. Seriously, the Moko is, I'm sorry, objectively ugly. Puts one in mind of some mental patient who the nurses are force-feeding spinach to, but just like anybody sane, they hate spinach, so they just end up drooling half-chewed-up spinach down their chin. That's the Moko, a tattoo on your chin to make you look like you're dribbling green slime. At best, I could accept it on some hot, young Maori woman who looks like Moana in the Disney movie, if they're going for that culturally authentic look. I'd make that concession. But when you're the shape of a beach ball, and as heavy as a wrecking ball, and as old as whatever ball is the oldest ball in the world, the Moko is not going to be the accessory to flatter those features. Having said all of that, I'm not denying the cultural or historic legitimacy of the thing, and I sincerely reckon that if you want to wear one, you should. You should proudly wear it, in fact, if you wanna. Go get a Moko with my full blessings and approbations. Though as a white guy, I'm guessing you'd discount me regardless of whether I condoned or condemned the bloody thing, but it is absolutely your prerogative. But, in every kindness, understand that it does represent an extreme bit of tattoo artistry or bodily modification in being placed so prominently on the face. It's deliberately shocking. And hey, if that's what you're going for, or you do happen to want to embrace your cultural heritage, then more power to you, as far as I'm concerned. But understand that other people are going to consider it to be unprofessional or uncivilized looking, or indeed even ugly, for want of a better word. And to attribute opinions of that nature to cultural insensitivity or indeed racism is disingenuous. It's just shoving your head in the sand and denying reality. You know how it's going to be perceived, so stop pretending otherwise. I want you to like it if you do have one, but understand that I don't have to like it. And I'm with Pierson on this one. I think it's an appalling look for a senior MP. It looks unprofessional, it looks unsophisticated, and I happen to think it shows poor judgment, both on the part of Mahuta, as somebody with political aspirations, and Ardern. But you just know the latter appointed the former to the post because the Moko makes her look more valid as a Maori person. But rather than just letting Olivia Pierson indulge her right to free speech and disseminate her opinions, the Mighty Ape shits decide to yank her product from their online shelves and thus partake in one of the pernicious epidemics sweeping the globe at present, that of cancel culture. They don't like her opinions, or at least they want to be seen to be not liking her opinions in public, and so they cancel her sales and thus deny her that little bit of potential livelihood, all in the name of some sanctimonious kowtowing to that enemy of Western values, political correctness. Tena koto e hoama, Mighty Ape replied to a Twitter user. So, looks like some Twitter snitch squealed to Mighty Ape like a good little tattler, and Mighty Ape are all like, "Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We have made the book unavailable, and will not be making it available again. Tena koto, blah blah blah, we're authentic Te Reo Māori." I assume the phrase, "the book," refers to Pierson's Western values defended. Pretty ironic, really. Pierson tries to defend Western values in whatever way she thinks is apposite, and the Mighty Ape shits turn against those very values and cancel the woman to punish her for wrongthink. Okay, Simon Barton, you're a piece of shit, of the ape variety. I, for one, will shun your website like it's every goddamned plague rolled into one odious malady. And, incidentally, that's what you have between your ears, that is. You've been listening to the channel Fletcher Hamilton, and, as always, thank you for doing so.